So, meanwhile, the latest numbers showing gun violence is surging in Seattle at a time when staffing at the police department is critically low as well.
And Q13's Brandi Kruse joining us now. This has been an issue you've been covering for quite a while now. The chief of police making yet another plea to the city council.
Yeah, and look, we know that the police department has lost about 300 officers since the height of the defunding debate in Seattle last year. Seattle already before that, it was questionable whether it had a police force that was commensurate with the size of its population compared to other cities. And so then you lose 300 officers, and the chief of police's argument to the city council is, look, unless we change course dramatically, this violence is only going to continue.
I think we all hoped after the violent weekend in July, we could begin to turn a corner and that there were a few weeks where the violence seemed to be subsiding from their historic levels. But the unrelenting pace of the violence in recent days reminds us that this should be unacceptable. People need to put down their guns. Early this morning, a man was shot and killed in downtown Seattle. In this case, an armed robbery victim opened fire, apparently in self-defense, shooting and killing the armed suspect. This past weekend, we had multiple shooting instances with 2 individuals losing their lives as a result. So far, year to date, there have been over 100 additional shootings compared to the same time last year in 2020.
Yeah, and the chief of police, so what would he do if he had more officers, or at least officers back to the size that the department was? Well, he says we, for the most part, know where the concentration of these shootings happen. And for the most part, it is a small group of people who are willing to kill someone using a gun or have access to a gun. He said if I had more officers, I would have them out on the streets in those neighborhoods, proactively patrolling, because he says we know that the presence of officers can be and has been a deterrent to crime. One of the other things that the chief pointed out, and this is something we've known for a long time, that today's victims can be tomorrow's shooters, or today's shooters can be tomorrow's victims. So he says, if I have enough officers to go out, to investigate shootings, to make arrests, our department is preventing another shooting down the road. So that is his plea to the city council. Help us retain officers and help us bring more officers in.
I mean, the city council was very vocal about the defunding debate last year. And then you've got, we're just hearing from Interim Chief Diaz saying we need officers. I mean, is there any compromise we could see out on the horizon at this point?
I don't know. And the other factor that goes into that is that we're in the middle of an election year. Yeah. You have 2 citywide council seats up for grabs. You have the city council president, someone who is a vocal proponent of defunding, who is running for mayor and is one of 2 candidates. And so we know that politics can complicate things. And let's just take a live look back out this morning at that scene in Green Lake, if we have that. I mean, a jogger by Green Lake coming across a dead body, that's horrifying. And so, what we've heard from the council is that they want alternatives to policing. They want people who are short of armed police officers out doing these patrols, out trying to prevent crime, things that the chief wants sworn officers for. So whether, you had 7 of 9 council members who supported defunding. Whether you have a dramatic shift from that, it just seems very unlikely, to be frank. The question is, okay, if you have alternatives you think can work, how quickly can you get those in place to the point where they're making a difference? Because as we've seen, people are dying, it seems, on a regular basis. There's been shootings. How many shootings have we covered in the last few days?
A tremendous amount.
Or even just this morning.
Or even just this morning.
And we talk about the prevalence of shootings that happen in the Pioneer Square area and downtown, but we're also seeing homeless encampments that are popping up all over town. If you've been to North Seattle, the area where these 2 incidents happened, we found that body this morning there. This is in the Finney Ridge area on the other side of Green Lake. This is all around 99. North Seattle, the 99 area, has gotten significantly worse since the pandemic.
Yeah, and traditionally, that's not an area. The fact that we're talking about 2 incidents, we don't know if the body found was a shooting, but 2 incidents in that area. This is not traditionally an area where we've seen a concentration of shootings or homicides, and now we've got 2 this morning. And not that where the homicides happen makes a difference for how the city should prioritize it, but clearly there is an expansion of what we're traditionally seeing as in terms of violence in the city, from that Pioneer Square, downtown, 3 and Pine, South Seattle. We've had shootings and been covering shootings all over the city. And so what the chief is saying is we're at a critical point. Either we change the trajectory that we're on, stop officers from leaving, get more officers in, and he's saying I need the city council's support on that, or we continue the very violent trend that we're seeing in the city right now.
Thus far, we haven't heard from the city council.
No,
they're on recess.
They're on recess right now. Certainly this is going to be a topic when they come back, but whether there's a willingness to say, maybe we were wrong with what we did last year, maybe we need to change course, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I wouldn't count on that.
Right.
Brandi, thanks.